concerns that we might have to hit on as well, but we'll get that to you as we always do. I'm Chris Spags, joined by my good pal, the Chubster, Josh Engelman. How you doing, Josh?
I'm pretty good. I'm excited for the slate. I'm excited to just play. I'm going to try a new thing today. I'm not going to open my phone until like 9 o'clock once we hit lock and just hope for the best.
Okay. I mean, that works for you because you know what you're doing. I would say I prefer the sweat aspect of it. I like to know what I'm doing the entire time, but you're a numbers guy. You're agnostic for the most part.
My problem is that if I see somebody hit a home run and I jump to first, I immediately think like, okay, I'm going to maintain this for 4 hours. And that is just not how it works.
No, that's not how it works in baseball. But if you guys are new to baseball, you'll learn all these little tips and tricks. You'll also learn how to pick home runs because one of us has been right on 1 out of 2 days this year, and the other one of us has been wrong on 0 for 2. So we'll find out who that is at the halfway point of the show.
With that sort of sample size, I'm sure Sean V is going to love you today.
Sean V is going to be all over you. I would be his top pick on DraftKings.
He's also going to really enjoy the shout out, I think.
People in chat, I'm only going to answer this once today because we answer this every time. There is an NBA Live Before Lock show. It's going to be on a separate channel, so go check that out there.
It's also at 7 o'clock because Lock is at 8 today.
Oh, is it? I didn't even realize.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's helpful. Oh, that's helpful for my NBA lineups, which I already did. But good to know. But yeah, no, Eddie will be live then. But yeah, get your times right. And also, all right, you know what? Matt Smith, I saw you trolling before. I'm the person who has no shame with banning anybody. I'm Matt Smith.
Deuces.
Nothing to offer us.
Deuces. I knew Chris would do it.
Yeah. No, we were talking about it before we came on the air. If you're on the YouTube chat right now, this guy, Matt Smith, being a really negative person for some reason and was arguing with somebody on the Osmo handle who it was, because it wasn't either of us. But no, I just like, if you're going to contribute negative stuff, don't come to the channel. You don't need to talk.
It's the first time I've seen anybody in chat be like, yo, I think Adam sucks and he's only highly ranked because he MMEs. I've never heard anybody be like, I don't necessarily like, they could be like, I'm not a big Adam fan or anything, but whatever. But I've never heard anybody be like, yo, he's really not that good. He's only what he is from MMEing. Like he had a fantastic NBA season, qualified for a live final, super prepared with tons of details. It crosses the threshold of speaking about statistics and giving a lot of quality information while also being like an MME player and into like the data behind it all. This is the first time clearly you and I get it pretty aggressively. The negatives are pretty negative.
Yeah, no, I don't mind the negativity sometimes when it's just like nonstop to the point where like I worry for your sanity a little. It's just better. And you're right. Adam is one of the sharpest guys we have here at Osmo, one of the smarter guys really in the world of DFS. So follow him on Twitter. Follow at Ship My Money DFS and all that. But
if you don't think you're getting anything out of Adam during a show, you're probably not going to be a huge fan of the entire Osmo product.
But who cares? Let the people troll. This is not a church. No, you can troll. It's all up to my discretion.
I mean, it ruins the experience for the other 450 people that are here to like get help and be entertained.
Yeah, that's life. But hey, it's baseball. We will talk baseball here. We got a bunch of games in front of us. Josh, any weather concerns you have at all right now? I saw one game which is maybe a little overcast, but I guess we should just touch on that up front.
I mean, the Nats game has weather involved. I'm not making any changes to anything because of it. It's not like my favorite scenario in the world, but I don't get the sense that it's going to matter all that much to starting pitching, and that's really my only issue today. So it's really Nats Philly is the only one that totally matters. There might be a delay in the Yankees game, but it shouldn't be anything that matters too much.
All right, and we also just got some lineups in, unless that was happening before the show. Mariners, Giants, and Athletics lineups all in now. Do I even care enough to update this right now? Probably not.
I do now.
You can update it. All right, so what are you getting so far, pitcher? We talked about one guy up front, but obviously we have a couple of big-ticket pitchers on the slate today. Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander in particular are going to be the guys people want, but Blake Snell not far behind. Actually, ownership-wise, what are we doing with ownership? Ownership also, yeah, a lot of ownership on Chris Sale, a lot of ownership on Blake Snell, it looks like. A lot of ownership on Zach Greinke. Which guys are you getting the most in your crunches?
Yeah, so if I were on DK today, I would expect it to go Sale, Snell, Verlander, Scherzer for me. On FanDuel, it's Sale, Snell, Verlander, Scherzer as well. With Sale being like my clear top, and I'm nervous about it, but I'm not in a position to overreact to the first game of the season.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of sale, especially on DraftKings if you're going to be with the field. I mean, I don't. I certainly wouldn't want to read too much into that first game there, but pretty poor showing for Chris Sale, especially given all the other concerns.
Yeah, it's not exciting to see him start off so poorly, but he's 10-8. He's $500 cheaper than Verlander on FanDuel. He's $900 cheaper than Scherzer. I have him projecting better because of this matchup. I love him being able to try to get right in Oakland. Not that I love Oakland's lineup. They've got some scary right-handed bats, but I mean, that's a really nice park. Tons of foul area. So, if you can get people to pop up, it's a really good spot for pitchers. So I'm hoping that Sale can right the ship here. He's my number one exposed pitcher today on FanDuel.
Interesting. Okay. Yes, I'm more Team Snell. I'm also Team Jason Vargas, who is a pitcher we've discussed on the show last season. I don't mind Vargas ever in matchups where the other team sucks. I think that tends to be Jason Vargas's sweet spot, and not a bad run total as well. Not a bad hitting park, or not a bad pitching park rather as well. So that all checks out for Vargas being my guy. Any other of the, I guess, the also ran type pitchers who you're landing on a lot?
On FanDuel, it's basically impossible in my opinion. There's too much at the top end to even mess around. And hitter salaries are so low that there's no utility to going to someone like Marcus Stroman. At least not that I can tell, because I don't have any problem getting to expensive bats even with expensive pitchers. On DraftKings, Vargas would be my highest owned guy of all of the low salary guys. Greinke in that mid tier there, as well as he's sort of like an SP 1.5 based on his price tag. But Vargas would be first, and then probably Trevor Cahill would be second if we're looking to low-ish priced guys. Shelby Miller, okay, dead last.
Yeah, Shelby Miller, I mean, well, gonna be a lot of ownership. I guess not much ownership on the Astros, at least in our most recent ownership update. Oh, by the way, if you are not a member of Osmo.com now, please do that. You want to get all the ownership projections and projections for the games itself, where you can plug them right into Fantasy Cruncher. Get that right now with promo code Live Before Lock. Get half off your first month. Yeah, I mean, Shelby Miller, not even that great leverage, because there isn't a ton of ownership on the Astros right now, which surprises me given that total and Shelby Miller being atrocious versus righties.
Wow, there is on FanDuel. They're the second highest owned stack.
Yeah, the highest owned guy in the stack would be Bregman right now at 15% for DraftKings.
On FanDuel, Correa's at 25, Springer at 16, Altuve at 15, Bregman at 12. But Carlos Correa is $3,000 on FanDuel. It's like whoever is working the prices at FD fell asleep for 4 days.
Yeah, that's not a great price for Carlos Correa. I mean, it is a great price if you're paying it, not a logical price, I guess, if that's your job. If your job is creating prices.
Yeah. So I completely understand that ownership. I'll have similar amounts, or at least I'm ending up on similar amounts just because of getting to the Stros.
So which stacks are you landing on the most so far?
What I have in here right now, and this is obviously subject to change, Blue Jays, Astros, and then I'm getting to a little bit of Rangers now. Not that I'm super comfortable about running headfirst into Verlander, but he is going to be one of the more owned pitchers on FanDuel. It's an advantageous ballpark to be hitting in, and they are getting no ownership whatsoever. Just absolutely zilch. Nobody more than 5%. Most guys at 0. 4 guys at 0. So I'm going to have some Rangers as a hedge to some Verlander ownership. Kind of doing the same thing with a little bit of Rockies and a little bit of Phillies as well. But Blue Jays and Astros are kind of ruling the roost for me.
Okay, interesting. The Blue Jays for me are one I landed on a lot, and one guy I like in there who is going to be my home run pick in 15 minutes is a guy who jumps out as being interesting to me. Great name as well, so I'll tease that.
Clearly you're taking Rowdy.
I don't know, Josh. Maybe.
I mean, yes, I think you and I can both agree that Danny Jansen is a pretty tame name.
But he has the cool goggles. I guess if I said he seemed like a cool guy, then you could go with Danny Jansen.
Sure.
Goggles always.
Danny Tanner.
Danny Tanner also I would take in a home run picking contest as well. A lot of power in those little legs, those bird legs.
Take him in a house cleaning contest.
Also that. Yeah, the Blue Jays to me on DraftKings, Blue Jays and Astros are the ones I wanted to force in the most. So those are the guys I have most of by far. Seattle, a little bit interesting to me. I think it's not a bad matchup versus Cahill, though I also could see Cahill having a decent day today. So I don't hate that approach on either side really, but not a ton of ownership there for that stack. And then, nice 4.5 run total, which is pretty decent. So on this slate in particular, I don't mind Seattle. Everything else kind of looks like mostly crappy to me. Like I think an anti-Scherzer stack is a little bit appealing. The Phillies have been hitting pretty well to start the year, at least that middle of the order in particular with Harper, Hoskins, and Real Muto. So I don't mind a few hedge stacks against Scherzer, but I don't know. For DraftKings, I feel like I didn't get much more creative than Blue Jays and Astros.
Well, you better hope the chalk hits today. Oh wait, you said Astros aren't that chalky today?
No, I mean, look, I always have a little bit, but like for me, I just felt like they're a class above, and I'd rather try to differentiate a pitcher maybe, or try to differentiate, with like one-offs or different parts of the stack. So that's sort of where I went about it. But you're right; it's very chalky choices.
Andrew mocked. What is the last column for next to the teams not in the table? It's the opposing starting pitchers' expected ownership, so I can cross-reference, high-owned pitchers with my ownership my ownership for the hitters.
A lot of debate about PED usage in the chat right now on YouTube.
Pretty much just that weird BB dude.
Somebody else
I assume he's
Marco
a dude. 99.7% of everybody is a dude in there.
Oh, you know what? It is BB. BB just speculating about everybody on PEDs.
Yeah. It's really annoying.
Maybe he knows something that we don't. Maybe he's an expert.
Yeah, maybe. I hope everybody's on PEDs. They shouldn't even be outlawed. It's baseball.
Yeah, I would agree.
One thing if you're going to get into a fist fight with someone else. I could see regulating that.
Shelby Miller was just about the worst pitcher I watched all last year. I think the data would support that. So good call by you, Ochi Blue. Harper is How about a Bryce Harper revenge game today, huh?
I certainly hope so.
Oh, so you're loading up on you gonna have some Phillies?
I will have some Phillies.
Interesting. Okay. Support that. How much Phillies?
On my last crunch, the Phillies were okay. So they have basically no ownership. They're all like essentially sub 1, except for Harper, who's at 2%. I have like 6 or 7 for the main guys. So a couple extra full stacks, just enough to give me some skin in the game. It's not like I have like 75% Phillies or anything here against Scherzer. That'd be silly.
That would be a hot take. I mean, that is the variability of baseball and all that. So I get it. If you did go, that'd be a little aggressive, but I would certainly support you being contrarian and believing in yourself.
There you go.
See any good questions? Barrios/Bar. How about Barrios? Is he a guy that you're interested in? I know that there was some debate about him and his home road splits on the deeper dive before us, and those guys covered it at pretty good length because as they always do. But what about Jose Barrios for you? He's at a interesting price, and he's had some good results, but I guess the home road splits are pretty pronounced.
I just don't see him as even viable. Like he's $300 cheaper than Blake Snell on FanDuel, and like I think Snell is like 4 times better than him today. He's just not in the same tier as Scherzer, Verlander, Sale, and Snell. I will probably have all 100% of my pitching exposure on FanDuel to those 4 guys.
Okay. So no Andrew Cashner for you today.
Nope. I'm probably going to miss Cashner. I mean, I'd rather have Cashner than Shelby Miller. Shelby Miller is dead last for me. Ooh. Like on a different day, like if this was May 11th, then Barrios probably looks good because there's not 4 other Cy Young caliber pitchers on the slate. But
yeah,
I mean, like what is there to, especially on a 1-pitcher slate? What is there to gain from being like, who I really like today? Marco Gonzalez. It's like one of Scherzer, Verlander, Sale, and Snell is going to put up a score that these other guys just can't do, and that's just not going to matter as much any longer. DK, totally different story. I just don't like Barrios there at 9,700 because I think that price sucks.
Any risk at all of Snell blowing up? Sean V. Oh boy, I said this before even seeing Sean V in the chat, declaring Blake Snell to be a bust already.
I saw it earlier today. New A's lineup. Chad Pinder scratched.
Oh, all right, that's fine. I didn't have any of them. Yeah, here we go. So also BB joining in. Want to win tonight? Stack again. You have any counter Snell stacks?
Let me look. Yeah, I do. More than a little bit, actually.
What? I guess I don't see it quite as much. I mean, it's a pretty poor run total. I guess I could see getting there based on ownership because he is going to be really highly owned. But I don't know. I'm not dying for the Rockies in this matchup.
Oh, I mean, I'm not like enthusiastic about it. You get Arenado and Story getting righty lefty matchups, which is always appealing. Garrett Hampson is hitting second for the Rockies. He is only $2,200 on FanDuel, second base eligible. So he's going to naturally see himself into more advantageous stacks because it makes it so much easier to stack 1, 2, 3, 4 on the Rockies. And if the stack is Blackmon, Arenado, Story plus Hampson, I kind of like that against Snell.
Okay, I could see that. I mean, the price thing definitely makes a difference because it's not as viable of a price overall on DraftKings. Still not a bad price for Hampson, but 3,700, a big difference between that and 2,200 on FanDuel.
Yeah, like just him being only $200 above the minimum allows you to stack the Rockies, allows you to stack 3 of the good Rockies so much easier than it was if that spot didn't exist and that was like a $3,500 player.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the logic in the YouTube chat for where. All right. So Andrew Mock says Josh Snell looked bad versus the righties at Houston first game out. Arenado and Story are the only scary righties to deal with, but it only takes one of them to hurt his 10K price tag.
Yeah, like I'm only really looking at Blackmon, Hampson, Arenado, Story, and Ian Desmond. And if you want to swap Dahl in for Blackmon in a stack, I don't really have much of a problem there. But Blackmon should see like 0.6 of a plate appearance more, which is kind of important.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to get there with my lineups, but it is something to consider there with the popularity of Snell. At least I think that's worth throwing a 1 or 2 there for MME.
Just so I'm clear, like the Rockies are projecting at essentially 0 ownership, and I have 3% aggregate. This is not like abundance. I just want to make sure I'm on the opposite side a little bit of the raise.
Jay Kelly 13 asking in the premium Slack, any love for the Tampa Bay righties? They are going against Kyle Freeland, who's a worse pitcher against righties by a decent clip, but perhaps not enough to justify targeting. But Tampa Bay is known for ruining pitchers' days at home, especially. So any interest in the righties on Tampa Bay for you?
Nothing crazy. I'm just sort of with the field on those guys.
Yeah, I didn't get there. I think I have a couple one-off Tommy Phams, but besides that, not really trying to get there a bunch. I think the deeper dive guys recommended Mike Zunino, and I could see that with catcher being as bad as it is on DraftKings today. It's not a great position. Zunino does at least have that pop.
Yeah, I don't really have an issue with that. He's probably my second favorite hitter on the Rays behind Pham.
Yeah, all right. I think we're on the same page with that then. Let's see what else. I would only one-off Arenado's Story, not a full stack. That seems fair. God. CJ Crone apparently also on the juice, according to BB. Jesus Christ.
Fair enough.
I can't. CJ Crone.
It's seriously one of the dumbest things I've heard. So kudos to you. I'm pulling no punches today.
No, that's fair. I don't think I landed on CJ Crone. Actually, you know what? I do have one Minnesota stack with CJ Crone involved, so I can't say that.
I've had 3 hours worth of YouTube chat today. My tolerance is gone.
I support that. Sometimes you just gotta stomp them out. Stomp them out with your big boot if you can. Oh my God! Stop hiding. I'm not hiding the man bun. I wear hats. I wear my hair up sometimes. Do different things.
Yeah, I mean, how many shows do you think you and I have done together?
Over 100, I would say.
Oh sure. Yeah, easy, over 100. Yeah. I'd say that you have not worn a hat and I have not worn a hat maybe like 5 times each, maybe. So yeah, we're not really hiding anything. It's just kind of a hat culture around here.
The thing is, you wake up, like I wake up, and the second I wake up, I take my dogs out. I'm here. I'm preparing NBA in the morning. I don't have any downtime to even put my hair into anything presentable. That's why I just go backwards hat.
I didn't bathe today.
I did get a shower in today during my lunch break, so made that happen.
Well, that's a tomorrow thing.
LOL, Josh complaining about doing his job.
I'm not complaining about doing my job at all. I'm complaining that YouTube chat is the bane of civilization.
I think there's pros and cons to everything, and YouTube chat, no exception.
When do you guys like 1% of YouTube chat, but unfortunately, the 1% of YouTube chat becomes the vocal minority.
It's true. The 1%ers are often the ones that end up with the most attention, as we've seen when we were all occupying Wall Street. We saw that firsthand. I'm sure we were all there.
That guy's about to get
All
banned.
right. When do you guys pick the home run guy? Beckett Boo asking. We pick the home run halfway through the show, so in 5 minutes.
Holy
and
shit,
I already
6:25.
teased mine.
When did that happen?
Time flies when you're being complaining about YouTube trolls.
Sure. 2 more lineups to go, just in case anybody's curious. Red Sox, who are apparently delaying it again today, and the Padres.
Okay, Manny, that is too much. Peace out.
Wait, who'd you get? Oh, yeah, I figured as much. I was waiting. I was wondering how long that was going to take you.
Like, that's so whatever. We don't need to go down that road.
I laughed. I'm not going to lie.
Those jokes are so obvious, and it's
I don't appreciate it, but I laughed that he had the gall to say it.
Let's see. Should I play Berrios over Snell and GPP? I would not support that, but Josh, thoughts?
I don't see it. I just don't have these guys that's even remotely comparable. I assume we're talking about FanDuel since we're talking about one guy. There's almost no situation where I wouldn't have one of the big 4 that are on DraftKings if we're talking about a 2-pitcher site. There's just easier ways to go about it. Like, it's different than rostering. Like, we consider Blake Snell chalky, whatever. He's 20, 25%, whatever the number is. We consider that to be chalky. But it's not like seeing, like Justin Anderson today in basketball is, 75% owned. Those are very different things. You do not really need to get like different for different sake in baseball the same way you need to do it in basketball. Basketball fading someone like Justin Anderson is a much different story, but fading Snell should only really happen if you're trying to build one lineup, if you think Snell is going to be a problem.
Okay.
Or to make like moves based on ownership.
Yeah, if you're like Sean V and the other guys in the chat who are saying they think he's going to blow up, then sure, that's a reason to fade him. But I would agree. I mean, I think it's a nice opportunity. I don't really see the downside to it. But I think the thing with baseball, the thing that most often as somebody who came in last year and was really diving in head first, there are a lot of times where the popular pitcher blows up no matter how good they look, and having that stack against the popular pitcher will sometimes pay off. But that's the reason I would go there, but I'm just not dying for it.
Yeah, like I don't have a problem with it. I'd be more likely to just change up my bats than switch a pitcher. Especially to a guy that is, I mean, I don't know his ownership on DraftKings, but like Berrios is at 9%. Everybody else is significantly higher. I just can't advocate it for it. Everybody, Scherzer, like I said before, Scherzer, Verlander, Sale, and Snell all project with ceilings like 3 to 4 times higher than Berrios. Not that the ceiling is higher, but the likelihood of hitting it.
Yeah, I think I'm with it. So Berrios is 17% on DraftKings, and Snell is what is he, 30 something? Yeah, 35. So that's it's half the ownership. I get wanting to go there, but yeah, I think your approach is right. Where I think you could take, and for me, this is just personal preference. I'd rather take a guy like Vargas who stinks, but at least he's going against a team who also stinks. Whereas, like, I think if you're taking a guy who's like mid-tier versus a guy who's mid-tier, I just don't see the upside in that personally. I mean, Berrios is more expensive than mid-tier.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I like the cheap guys. I feel like that's the one thing too where it's the most uncomfortable. But for me, starting pitching is really about that. It's like you're paying up for guys with the hope of comfort, and then there's still a chance that they could blow up if you're paying for like a Verlander or a Scherzer. That can always happen. But if you're taking a Vargas, like, certainly not the same upside, but if he gets you 20 and Scherzer gets you 30, I think I'd rather have Vargas's 20s than Scherzer's 30.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. All right, we're at the halfway point. Let's do our home run picks. I didn't offer much ambiguity to mine. I'm gonna go. Oh, also let's set the table. In case you missed the early part of the show. Josh currently 0 for 2 to start the year. Jake 0 for 1. EMAC 1 for 1, and I am 1 for 2 because EMAC and I were hot on Saturday. So tune into the Saturday Live Before Lock shows because that's where all the brain power comes in.
I like you less than I like this BB person.
Oh, that's just mean.
I know. That's a burn to both of you. That's how happy I am about it. I was able to get both of you in one line.
All right. Well, I'm going to take Rowdy Tellez. I like him. I wish he were a little bit higher in the order like he was in the projected lineups, but I think the power's there. I think the home run probability is certainly there going against Andrew Kashner. So I'm going to go with my boy Rowdy Tellez.
Okay. Let's see where he lines up here for me.
I would assume, based on what you told me the other day, I would assume he has a probability of almost 50% to hit a home run today if you have him getting 4 at-bats.
No. I have Tellez at like 15.6. He is
What?
41st.
How? Okay, now I'm confused by your...
I mean, the highest guy I have here today is Trout at 0.29. I don't think that should be terribly shocking to you that Mike Trout comes in number 1.
Yeah, no, I think Rowdy Tellez should be higher.
Nope.
I don't know why. Okay, I thought we had the same thing, but because we did the other day, but I guess not for Rowdy. Old Rowdy defies projection. That's what we can say about him.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do this because I want to cheer for it, and I think that I'm going to be in a position to cheer for it a lot. I want Bryce Harper.
Oh, okay, mister. I guess you could do this because it's going against Scherzer, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
All right.
You
Bryce
cannot
Harper
give me garbage for going against arguably the best pitcher in baseball for this pick.
Well, Rowdy Tellez, Bryce Harper, two peers amongst the baseball luminaries. I think we can all agree there.
I'm fired up. Bryce is putting one in the cheap seats. He's going to flip everybody off in Washington.
I mean, it is a revenge game, and as we all know, revenge games are the most important data to look at.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know how else to play.
Yeah, that's first and foremost. I like to see, for baseball especially, revenge a big motivator. All right. What else? Any good questions here?
Don't listen to Josh. He said pick Lillard over Booker yesterday. I don't even remember those guys playing yesterday. But if I gave that opinion, it happened at 10 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, they also, neither was that good.
I don't even know how they played. Psychopaths that are still playing basketball need to have your head examined.
I would disagree with the psychopath claims, but I think the dedicated amongst us who are still playing basketball deserve only the best. But Devin Booker did not provide that. Great assist day, though, for Point Booker, if nothing else.
Thanks for liking the video, BB. I appreciate it. It's not sarcasm. I really do. It helps us out.
Oh, apparently EMAC may have whiffed on the show that you and him did together. He wrote down the names from our show after our. All right. Well, either way, you didn't put it on the sheet, so that's all that matters.
What do you mean?
You didn't put the home run picks for yours and EMAC show on the sheet.
I don't have a sheet.
It's the same one as last year.
I thought you told me you made a new one.
No, I mean it's the same one, but a different page.
Like a different tab?
Yeah.
Okay, so I misunderstood you. I thought you made like a different sheet.
No, our exact same one as last year.
Okay, gotcha.
And the same one with 100 yards. Yeah, I'm keeping a pool.
I'm glad you do it.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to keep. I have to sell somewhere.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Red Sox lineup in, Padres lineup in. Time to get crazy. Woo.
All right. Woo. So let's see what are we going to crunch up today? What are we? Let me see if we have any good questions on the premium slide. Harper gets ear-holed. Okay, fair enough.
Max Scherzer's not going to plug him in the head. If Max Scherzer plugs him in the head, I'm happy with my pick. It's going to start a riot.
That would be a strong move. I think, didn't he leave on good terms?
I mean, I doubt it.
Like that was more of a management thing, I thought, than a team thing, but maybe not. I didn't really follow the tea leaves too closely with the local media.
I don't know. It's baseball. It's weird.
That sums up the season pretty well. We don't even need to keep going.
I'm so excited to run this crunch and see how it comes out.
Yeah, should we just drum roll your crunch?
I mean, you're going to be drumming for minutes.
Oh, I would get tired.
We're going to be calling you Lil Drummer, Chris.
That's one of my many that we can add to the list.
Better than Chubster. Right. Better than Chubster.
I mean, but that's just a childhood nickname you've had for a long time, so you can't. What are you gonna do?
I wish I could find the video where that started.
Dude, there's probably no way at all, unless there's like some archivist who's been watching every single live before lock.
Yeah, if anybody has any idea, I'd love to get the clip. It's like, obviously I have no idea and don't remember it at all.
That was also when I was like full trolling you hard, where I was like, yeah, like I think I went on for like a minute and a half about it was a childhood nickname for you. It's
Yeah.
been embarrassing for you.
Is Kuzma really out? Yep,
Oh,
Kuzma
thank God.
out. You keep talking. I'm going to update these projections.
All right. So check in the YouTube chat now. If you have any questions that aren't either ors, get it in there. Please do that now. We will answer your questions if there's anything good. Scherzer was a winner, or Scherzer was not a winner. People arguing about the winning nature of Scherzer. That's fine. BB warning people to take it easy with the juice. I would agree. Don't do that. Don't take the steroids or the PEDs of any sort. We like you just as you are, all natural.
There's no such thing as being a winner in baseball if you're a hitter. It is not a thing. It is impossible to be a thing.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought he was talking about Scherzer, though, as a pitcher being a winner.
I assumed he was talking about Harper because who talks like that? I mean, Scherzer's been winning everything for years. True. We offered him $300 million and he still left. No, they're talking about Harper. That's a ridiculous thing to say.
All right, who's your top pitcher tonight matchup-wise? That's an interesting question because let's say we're taking out pricing and all of that, which obviously you really can't do for DFS, but I think we're just trying to look on paper about who has the best matchup. You know, I would love
Blake
Ryu
Snell
today. Is it, you think it's Snell?
Yeah, the Rockies have a 3-run implied total.
Okay. Well, yeah, but the Phillies have a 2.91.
Yeah, but I think that there are worse hitters in the Rockies lineup than I do in the Phillies lineup.
All right. I would say the Giants lineup is the worst, but with Ryu, though, and again, the deeper dive guys talked about some more length about his pitch count and all that, and the general Dodgers approach to pitching, which I thought was pretty interesting. Because I always gravitate towards like the Ryus, the Maedas of the world. People have commented before that I do enjoy my Asian baseball players. In general, that's true, but especially at pitcher, I find them always great when they're a Dodgers pitcher. And I agree that maybe it's not enough time in there for him to get what he needs to get done, but it's a really good matchup. Ryu's been good this year and last year. So I like Ryu in the spot versus the Giants. The Giants just offer nothing to me.
You're crazy. No, I agree with you. The Giants lineup sucks. If Ryu was better, I would agree that he's a really good play.
Yeah, not enough strikeout upside to justify him maybe not seeing, you know, he's not going to throw for 9 innings. So that's always, that being off the table kind of makes it a little bit less appealing. Makad saying the Chubster videos are within the first week or so, if he remembers correctly.
That's not going to help me, man. It's not like I'm going to go back and watch that.
Yeah, well, one piece of Awesemo merchandise. Anybody who finds the episode, the correct episode and the time, and gives it to us.
Nats game is delayed.
Oh.
That's not terribly shocking.
Anything? Okay. So you're still playing that straight, not adjusting any exposures yet?
Not at all.
Okay. Fair enough. Close this up. All
right. Projections for NBA are updated if you're listening and you care.
Yes. If you're playing multiple sports, do that now. Check that out. Josh's projections, best in the game, I would say. Totally unbiased.
They're close. Pretty close.
I mean, besides mine, which are not publicly available. Those are made with love. It's a special ingredient.
I'll say this. There's only one ahead of me unless they're based on all averages of other projections.
Oh, on that site, I don't think we can promote, but interesting concept for that site.
They've always graded out really well, even when people did it independently in Reddit. But here's the key piece. They're pretty much all the same.
That's the one thing I noticed when I made mine was I still will come out a little different, a little head on some guys and a little bit lower on others, but really your projections, Fantasy Cruncher's projections, which you also get with any Awesemo membership if you sign up for a membership that includes Fantasy Cruncher, pretty much always within a 1 or 2 point range without much deviation. What about a Snell Stroman? I am not on Stroman today, but I think any approach with Snell and a cheaper pitcher is one that I would support. So I don't really begrudge that, even though Stroman's not my guy. Mark Stroman.
I don't have an issue with it.
Maybe going against Baltimore. That's certainly not, not a terrifying spot in any way.
No, not so much.
So,
Although I did have a
Stroman.
little bit of them yesterday. I thought they were really going to put a hurting out of the gate.
Oh yeah, somebody mentioned that you were on the Baltimore stack.
I was indeed.
Yeah, Strom. So the reason I didn't get to Strom is the price. I think that price isn't that great for what his projection is for us. But in a world of variance of baseball, I think he's totally fine. Just not a guy I would get to because I'd rather go guys a little bit cheaper or significantly cheaper or a little more expensive.
Sure.
All right. Yes. Special ingredient. The secret ingredient is love, Moses Guthrie. You are correct. That is what all my projections are made of. Me and Dr. Frank both putting it together.
Doctor Who?
Dr. Frank from The Simpsons.
Okay. Gotcha.
Professor Frank. Sorry. Not doctor. He's also a doctor.
Sure.
How does a delay in Washington affect your exposure to Scherzer? Looks like rain will not come back once the delay ends. I think I share Josh's opinion where I'm just going to ride with the same amount I had before.
Yep. Nothing changing for me.
You guys believe in the play guys from every team motto when putting in a lot of lineups?
Not really. I just kind of get there by default, but I don't prioritize doing it.
I tend to go the other way. So I mostly hand build. I use optimizers to kind of get a read on what I want to do and then kind of iterate from there. And I prefer to focus in on the angles that I like, especially because I only do. I'm not a max 150 guy. I prefer to kind of have less of the field than I can and pare down my player pool. But I think the approach, if you're using our projections, though, I would probably say you're better off just kind of letting them ride and doing your different approaches to stacks and different groups and all that, I guess, to get where you need to get. Let's see. No, it's just basketball chat. Nothing in basketball chat. It's Dr. Nick. No, it is not Dr. Nick, the Maharishi. Look at the video above you in the premium Slack. That's Professor Frank. Don't question. Move in terms of the Simpsons trivia. I will be a king of DFS. How about them Braves kicking ass last night? Not relevant to this slate.
Did they play?
They do not play today. They apparently had a great night last night.
Yeah, couldn't tell you.
All this Vargas talk is hilarious. No, it's not hilarious. No, it's not.
He grades out really well for me for his price tier.
Yeah,
doesn't make me excited to have him or anything. He's Jason Vargas. Like more often than not, the dude just sucks.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the thing is like when you play a pitcher who's like mediocre, you have to go in knowing the outcome could go the other way. Like that's sort of what I mentioned a couple minutes ago is that there is the risk that it goes south. But when you're playing a cheaper pitcher in a matchup versus a team who also sucks, I think it's not a bad spot as long as you know the fact, like it's very possible Vargas gets you 8 or even gets you negative. Who knows? Probably not the most logical against the Marlins, but
he had multiple negative starts to start last season.
Yeah, he was terrible. Great closing out the year, though.
Was a very different person.
He was 2 different pitchers in those parts of the year. But because I remember when we had a show where you talked me into Vargas, and I was like, he's been so bad every single game, and you're like, I don't know, like it's due for an upswing. I don't know why you talk like Yogi Bear in this one.
Hey, boo boo! Hey, boo. I saw it in my picnic basket.
Yeah, for some reason I remember that pretty vividly, and then Vargas actually did turn it around and had a really good second half of the year. So to me, I don't know, that's just what you're going there for. And Yogi Bear gives great DFS advice.
Sure, of course he does.
You guys sure you don't want to reduce your exposure to that game? It looks like a tropical depression just formed on the Maryland coastline.
Yes, I am sure.
Yeah, I'm still cool with riding with it. I see no reason not to at this point.
I just don't care.
Apparently my impression sounded just like you. Thank you guys. Thank you. I appreciate that, Cantor.
I don't want to be that makes me sad.
If I knew earlier, I just had to do a Yogi Bear impression and just twisted a little to get to you. But it changed my life.
Not great.
Here's an interesting question, Makad. Do you guys actually watch baseball? I used to, but it got really boring once I became a somewhat responsible adult with limited time.
No, never.
I do watch baseball. Actually, because of this, I like watching stuff, but the eyeball test for me really doesn't add any value in baseball. Like basketball, I think it does. I don't think baseball it does at all. I'd rather just look at data, but I still watch it just to have something on in the background.
I won't even put it on in the background. Maybe if I wanted to go to bed.
One of my friends, I guess with T-Mobile, you get MLB.TV free. So don't tell the MLB that I got I get MLB whatever league pass and extra innings. I forget what it's called, but I get that through him, so I don't mind.
You could also get it free through Reddit.
Oh yeah, but I'd rather use the app if I can, and the MLB apps aren't as blocking you out as some of the NBA apps are. So I'll share a password for that.
Yeah, we'll see until you want to watch the Dodgers and they're blacked out because you live there.
I think I would survive.
Well, they're just the blackout rules are ridiculous. It's the reason that I wouldn't subscribe to it. I mean, that and the fact that I probably wouldn't spend $1 to have it.
Yeah, that was part of why I'd stopped paying for a league pass this year.
Oh, now so that I will pay for all day, every day.
Yeah, I see. Like, I didn't pay this year because I think the actually using Reddit for that is more intuitive than using League Pass in terms of like if you want to watch multiple games and switch around and stuff.
I just want it on at every TV at a moment's notice whenever I can get it.
No, that's fair.
But apparently people think that I never watch basketball, so I don't know why I'm saying that. I've never watched League Pass ever.
Question in the chat from TP. For DK GPP, would it make sense to pivot to Mad Bum tonight? So it certainly doesn't look bad. Not a lot of ownership. I really don't like going against the Dodgers right now. I think they're hitting really well across the board. And this lineup is a little bit less, I think, scary than some of the other lineups they could out there. But I have a little bit of Mad Bum, but I'm not getting there a lot. What would you say with Madison Bumgarner today?
I would not play him. I'd imagine I wouldn't have him at all.
Okay.
And that's on DraftKings. I certainly don't have him on FanDuel.
Yeah, I think just 2% ownership is okay, but I also think you can get production from cheaper guys too. So I think there's enough risk with Bumgarner and maybe not enough upside there where it's not worth it terribly. But I don't begrudge it as much. I think especially at 2% ownership, you're differentiating in a notable way. Oh, Dylan says because you constantly say you don't watch games, that's why people think you don't watch NBA.
Yeah, I've never said I don't watch NBA. I say it over and over again, and people still think it.
E-Rush saying watching NBA less important than MLB. I don't know about that.
I just watch it because it's a better visual product.
Yeah, and it moves faster too.
If I were sitting at a ballpark and eating a hot dog and a cheesesteak and drinking like 6 beers, then yeah, I'd love to be at a baseball game. I don't need to watch it from my couch. The Netflix exists.
The second comment of the day about my blanket and USC and how people, to be clear, there are people who pay for the wearing USC, but that's always been the case. There's a thing called legacies and people have donated buildings and stuff. So I have much more in-depth arguments about this on my podcast, but no, I don't bother. And no, my family is poor as S. So I guess I don't know why. Are we allowed to curse anymore? I don't even know.
Time to time. Depends on the letter.
My family does not have enough money to get me in there. I had to get there on Moxie and financial aid. So unfortunately, that's not it. And that blanket also paid for out of Moxie and financial aid.
His aunt is Aunt Becky.
That would be awkward for the amount of times in which I've thought dirty things about my aunt then.
I literally don't know anything about that. Laffy brought it up to me and I didn't even know it was a story.
Oh yeah, it's a big deal, but it's like many colleges, and it's a lot of elite like Yale's also in there. Like a lot of very.
I don't have a problem with it, but I'm going to be in the minority for that one, I'm sure.
I also don't have a problem with it because the same thing already exists in a million different forms. Kids were taking SAT prep classes when at my high school, starting in 7th grade. And I didn't do that because my family didn't have money, and I also thought prep was stupid because I thought it was aptitude. But that stuff has happened for many years. They've had resume doctors and stuff. I mean,
I don't care whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't mean I don't care what you're saying. I mean I don't care that they spend whatever they want to get their kids into whatever college they want. That's what money is for. That's why they made the money, to buy their way into things.
College is a joke. I think that's
make more money then.
Yeah, I wish I had gone to a state school or something. I mean, USC was a really fun experience, but I wish I hadn't taken on debt to go to a school when, in hindsight, it probably didn't matter that much.
Yeah.
Let's see, but there was an either/or question here from Donald Trump, and right after he made his USC joke, which really stellar kind of humor I would expect from somebody repping that name. But Snell and Bregman or Sale and McKinney for cash, which would you say would be the safer play to go to for cash?
Snell and Bregman. What site?
Not given.
Snell and Bregman and what and what?
Sale and McKinney.
Snell and Bregman.
Yeah, I would think so too. Though, is McKinney going to be higher? If it's DK, I think McKinney's going to be higher owned. But I would rather have Bregman, I think. Yeah, McKinney is going to be higher owned.
I should get my placeholders in.
Yeah, Sale Stewarts. I would still go Snell and Bregman. I really thought about that one. I think I'd rather go Snell and McKinney, to be honest, out of that four. But yeah. Guess I'm not getting the answer on my sneaky stack. Anthony, I have no clue what you sent. There are many chats going by.
Dylan Evans just nailed it in YouTube. Josh thinks cheating your way into success by having a lot of money is the way to live life. I do if you have that stuff.
Yeah,
it is exactly what I would do. I assume it's exactly what 99% of the people would do if they had the ability to do it.
I would tend to agree. That's absolute power corrupts absolutely, and the same thing counts for money. But I also think the system allowed people to do that, so why be surprised? And I think the basking in people like, oh, like the rich people are getting taken down a peg, like not really. I don't think they were taken down a peg at all. They'll be fine.
When you're making that residual full house money, when you're making that residual round 2 90210 money, you put your kids wherever you want. What up, Aunt Becky?
Send them to the moon.
She's literally the only person I know that's involved in this.
She was the most noteworthy one,
which is really weird considering she's not.
Don't besmirch Lori Laughlin's good name. Steger or Pollock tonight? No site given.
Since we are at a new sport, I do want to give the announcement. It is in your best interest to let us know which site you're playing on so that we can answer that question better. I don't mean that negatively. It's just really helpful for us because the site matters completely. It dictates the entire answer of the question. So we can't give you a good answer if we don't have all of the information. Jake says stick to baseball. I love it. Seager or McKinney? Or am I just making up McKinney from the last one?
It was Seager or... Now I lost it. Seager or Pollock?
Pollock.
Yeah, I really don't have a preference either way, to be honest. So Pollock works for me. Snell or Berrios on FanDuel? You want to give your take on that one more time?
Yeah, it's Snell by like 7 million miles.
It's a lot of miles.
Yeah, look, I have them separated by 7.8 fantasy points. In no situation could I like realistically advocate for Berrios over Snell. Snell is only projected to be double owned. I think it should be significantly higher than that.
Andrew Mocked asking if Brandon Nimmo is a good play today. He looked awful, but he has tremendous upside. I did land on Conforto as a one-off in a couple lineups, so I don't have an issue with Nimmo in the same vein, but I didn't look at them on a per-player basis.
I don't really have much Mets, but I do have 6% Nimmo. I do have 6% Conforto. That is half of the public. I get it. They're running out a lot of lefties against Urena. If they don't get to Urena quickly, I think that the top of the Mets order sees a lefty reliever pretty promptly, and that makes things significantly less appealing. They're running 4 lefties in a row and 5 of 6. If Urena makes it through the order quickly once, I mean, if he navigates the order twice, I wouldn't bring him back out again. I don't expect, unless Urena is completely cruising, I'd be very surprised if he saw Nimmo 3 times. Thank you, Mets, for making a garbage lineup. That wouldn't happen if I were the manager.
I do like that stack, though. Now that I'm looking at it more, like I landed on one off Cano, one off Conforto. I didn't put together the lefty thing overall, which I kind of like now that I'm looking at it. Not a bad run total. I mean, I think your logic is pretty sound about Urena, but it's not bad. It's not a bad little stack.
I have a little bit, nothing crazy.
Yeah, I mean Dominic Smith at the end of it, not the most appealing, but going to Ramos or Smith, I really don't hate that.
I mean, Nimmo's at 22% ownership right now. I hate it because you're just driving into like something that people are already doing.
Yeah, on DraftKings, it's only Nimmo and Cano who have significant ownership. Both those guys were over 20%. The rest of the parts of the stack would be under 10%.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Somebody on the premium Slack asking, would you go Conforto or Nimmo for FanDuel?
Nimmo. I have the same amount of both, but I think Nimmo has a slightly higher ceiling because of leading off instead of hitting fourth.
Yeah, I think a little more pop for Conforto, which I tend to gravitate towards, and he hasn't been as bad to start the year. But yeah, I think it's hard to argue going against Nimmo there, I guess, hitting leadoff. So I guess I would favor Nimmo, but I do have Conforto and I do not have any Nimmo.
Like, I think Nimmo is more likely to get a third plate appearance and then they bring in a lefty to face Conforto than the opposite way.
Yeah, that seems fair. Yeah, like or he like starts that last drive where they're like, all right, this guy's done. He can't go against.
Yeah, and then lefty. Nimmo hits a single, McNeil walks, and then they bring in a lefty to face Cano and Conforto.
Yeah, I think that seems fair. A lot of talk about the weather in the Washington game one more time. Greek Ink in the premium Slack saying, few minutes to lock. If you play max, you will be donating money tonight. I guess anything else making you more concerned about the weather or less, or same amount of concern?
I am equally unconcerned as of right now. It seems like they can just wait this out for like an hour and be fine.
Okay.
At the very least, it seems like they can wait this out and not have any issues, any major issues.
All right. I'm riding with it, so I'm not changing any of my Scherzer, but
I'd be way more nervous if they didn't already delay it. Like, if they tried to start it, I'd be way more scared. The fact that they're waiting means they could just wait. Like, they can wait 2 hours. People are going to stick around because it's Bryce Harper's first game. They are way less likely to cancel this. I'm pretty positive of it.
That's a good point.
Now, they might. Like, here's the perfect soundbite for me to be wrong. But with Harper being there, Scherzer on the bump, like, they're going to wait this out as long as they can, I think.
McCod asking for a vintage callback to our shows last year, looking for the Paul Blackburn of the night for a pitcher who is fundamentally not good but could be on a winning tournament lineup. McCod loves these ones so I don't want to let McCod down. Who would be your Paul Blackburn of the night pick for that criteria?
It's, what is it, like somebody shitty?
Yeah, somebody who sucks but who could end up being a tournament winning pitcher.
Jose Urena.
I mean, I can't betray Jason Vargas, I think, at this point.
I think he's too good for today. I mean, he's my 6th ranked pitcher on DraftKings relative to salary. So, like, I just like him on purpose.
Look, I like that even better. I'm glad you feel that way. I think he still fits the criteria. So that would be my pick, because I did put in one Cashner lineup out of a max 20 just for kicks, because why not?
Zach Eflin, maybe?
Oh, yeah, but he's even more expensive. I feel like Vargas and Urania fit it better than Eflin do.
Nats aren't bad about postponing for little weather anymore. That was 2 years ago. The entire process has changed in baseball.
Yeah, people saying the people who live there know what they're talking about. Okay.
In 2017, that would have been a real statement.
Interesting. Well, either way, we'll see. We'll find out soon enough, I guess.
By the way, Scherzer is the guy that I like the least of the 4 starters, so I haven't even had to do anything. I just have less than the other 4 guys by default.
Okay, so that works then.
Yeah.
Plus Washington. Yeah.
But I still
plus
have
Washington has a good history of wanting to start home games versus lesser pitchers if they did cancel the game. All right, I don't know. That was too. Sure. It seems like people are supporting you, people are going against you. We'll find out, guys. Weather can be a finicky thing for different teams, but I think Josh made a viable case. People in there in the chat who are saying the weather is looking apocalyptic.
Here's the deal, guys. It's a 10-game slate and it's baseball. Don't feel bad about fading it if you don't like it. Like, it's not like there's no way to win if you do that. You're not like fading LeBron and he's the only stud. There's 9 other games that have all of the exact same opportunities. It's clearing up around Washington, but the rest of Maryland is going to get soaked. Well, as long as they're not moving the location of the game pitch by pitch, I think we should be fine.
What if they did, though?
I don't think they play the first inning in DC and then move to outside of Adam's house in Maryland for the next one. I think I don't even know if he's in Maryland or Virginia. I have no memory whatsoever.
Oh, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. Crazy.
Got an either or for you on FanDuel. Would you go Lauer, Keller, or Fires on FanDuel? All pitchers I'm sure you would love to have in your FanDuel lineup today, Josh.
Lauer, Fires, and who?
Keller.
Okay, so that's perfect. So Fires is my number 13 guy on Yahoo or on FanDuel. Keller is 14 and Eric Lauer is 15. If I were playing one of the three, it would be Lauer. I would recommend just PayPaling me whatever that entry fee is. Because I'll go get lunch or something, and there will be more utility on that. I'll go buy some KFC. Nope. Chick-fil-A. That's the word I was looking for. It's been a long day, man. The original Chick-fil-A bets were happening on these shows.
This guy, Chris Hernandez. Yeah, the thing you said, Chris Hernandez, was the most important thing in the chat, I'm sure. The arrogance to come in the chat and say that. You said something that, you type something that doesn't make sense in English, and I read it out loud and it doesn't make sense. That's why it gets mumbled. So type better. I'm physically at the game, and it looks like the day after tomorrow is about to happen, says Top Notch.
It looks like you're going to watch a really, really, really atrocious movie where they're going to walk on foot in like 12 hours from DC to Philly or DC to New York or whatever the bit was in that movie. I walked out of that movie in the theater. That movie is trash. Oh, God, what a garbage movie. It's like the worst winter weather in the history of the world, and they think that they could just go to a stroll clear across the Northeast. I wouldn't do that if it was nice. Was that Jake Gyllenhaal, I think? God, garbage movie.
Where's the link for NBA Live Before
Is that the
Lock
Tom
content?
Cruise one? I can't remember who was in that movie.
Day After Tomorrow was Jake Gyllenhaal, wasn't it?
Is it Jake Gyllenhaal?
I didn't actually. I think so. Sounds familiar to me. Yeah, Jay Joyce, check the channel. Actually, I'll see if I can grab the link fast. But it's not up. It's not up.
Jake Gyllenhaal, yeah. Dennis Quaid.
Oh, there we go.
Don't remember it. It made $544 million. Oh, fuck me. They got 12 of mine. That is a crime against humanity.
All right, there you go. If you're going to the NBA Live Before Lock, it's starting up now with Fast Eddie Fury. Go check it out. Mr. Fast Eddie. Already miss him and his monologues about different players so I can make my lineups. Those were the days. All right.
What time's lock today?
I don't know, 4:07 for me, 7:07 for you.
Two more minutes. I like my exposures. I'm a little overweight to the Phillies, a little overweight to the Rockies. I have a little bit more than the A's than everybody else. So if one of those starters gets blown up, I might like have something on the opposite end. Didn't go too much. They're all like in my bottom 10 of stacks, but I like where I'm at there. And I'm like double the field on the Rangers, but none of those teams are over. They're all 10th or below for me. I really like that distribution of ownership. I'm mostly fading the bottom for guys that aren't getting ownership as pitchers. So I have very little Rays, Dodgers, Marlins, Mariners.
Okay. Interesting grouping.
Well, they're not very popular for me, and their opposing starting pitcher is not getting a lot of ownership on FanDuel. So I've been trying to boost up slightly. If I'm going to have very little of some teams, I'd rather have that against the guys that are picking up some ownership pitching wise. That way I can get a little bit of utility, because if one of those dudes gets blown up, then I'm in there. But if, I don't know, whoever is facing the Mariners today gets blown up, it really doesn't matter to me because no one has him anyway.
Oh, Chris Hernandez clarified his point. Simple. The Nats want to get this game in because they are going against Zach Eflin. If they cancel the game, then Scherzer's next start will be against Aaron Nola looking ahead. Okay, well, you wrote that in proper English that time, Chris, so thank you. Thank you for clarifying instead of the gibberish you gave the first time.
I'm also confident that no one makes decisions based on that information.
Yeah, I don't think that's a left-hand, right-hand thing personally. But
they are not at all worried about one game out of 162, the scheduling of it, and whether or not they have a 15% more likelihood of picking up this particular win today.
I think your Bryce argument was more credible, to be honest, because like that is something which I'm sure they've prepared for and have a lot of local interest in. So I
Yeah,
could
I
see
mean, I
that
just
being.
assume they have a shit ton of people at the game, even with the garbage weather.
Yeah.
So they're going to wait that out a while. If there's 6,000 people in the stadium, they can cancel it a lot more, and less people are going to be pissed. If there's 25,000 people in the stadium, you chill for a bit.
All right, we should be locked now, but Jacob has one last question, which we can hit on. What do you think of having Trout, Turner, and Bruce in your lineup on FanDuel, then late swapping to Betts, Machado, and Moreland if you need to gain ground going into the late games?
Um, that's like calculus DFS to most people. If you can think that up in your head, great. I don't really. It's really hard for me to answer that without like typing 6 separate names into a cell and figuring out how I feel about them.
Yeah, and you also have to be doing well with your lineup to justify that. So I don't find any problem with it, but you need the rest of your lineup to hit first before you even think about pivots. And yeah, I would worry about part one before worrying too much about part two, but it's a perfectly fine thing to do. All right, Christian Walker Dong. All right, thanks, Andrew Mock. That's your Dong pick. You can answer it as well. Everybody, your Dong picks, I'm sure, just as valid as ours. Christian Walker on the board. All right, anything else you want to hit on before we close this off and go do other stuff? I think we got all the questions.
No, I'm hungry.
All right. Well, let Josh eat. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button on the way out. Of course, subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed for some reason, do that. We have these shows every day. We have a live before lock show for NBA going on right now. So please hit that like button and a subscribe button and check the promo code live before lock. We do have night slates content going up all the time, or different rankings, ownership projections for the night slate. That is one of our specialties. So please use that promo code live before lock. Get half off your first month. Be a part of that now. And I think tomorrow it's you and Jake for this.
It is.
Yeah. Tomorrow will be Josh. I'll be back with Jake on Thursday, back with Josh on Friday. So we have a full week of MLB live coming up. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you again soon.
Later, everybody.